one question I've seen get brought up in the comments, and people said, hey, make a reply video to this. So here's a reply to everybody in the comments that's talked about Avatar 2, aka Avatar The Way of Water, and even the first film. And that's, where is the cultural impact and the footprint that the films are leaving behind? Because if you look on the internet, there's a lack of memes and a lack of buzz, which means that the film isn't culturally important. So let's talk about that. Okay, so first up, I want to tackle the whole meme thing and the cultural impact. Are memes representative of cultural impact that transcends the actual product and goes on to take on a life of its own, and suddenly that's how you gauge how popular something is? Yes and no, depending on the circles you constantly frequent around and what you see. For example, I talk about pro wrestling all the time, right? I'll drop a couple things here or there in videos, but to many people, pro wrestling isn't that big because they're not tuning in to pro wrestling. They don't watch it. Yet, when I am online, I see so much pro wrestling that if I was to honestly look at pro wrestling and the Marvel Cinematic Universe and Star Wars, just looking at my feed, pro wrestling, according to what I see, dwarfs both of those by a factor of 20 to 1. But again, I'm in a bubble. And I don't understand why people can't apply the bubble mentality to everything. Yes, film Twitter is film Twitter. Film Twitter will tell you that X film is the greatest thing ever, and when that film somehow ends up becoming big, wins a couple of awards, and now it's become mainstream and other people talk about it, suddenly that film is complete garbage to them. At the same time, they will tell you that we are many, we are loud, listen to us, we are the Snyderverse. But everybody points at them and says, oh, that's a bubble. So why are people actively dismissing other franchise fans as being bubble fans, but they can't themselves address that maybe Avatar isn't in your bubble? Do you guys get what I'm saying? I talked about this before. I don't know a single other person in real life that watched the live action remake of A Lion King. I literally do not know a single person. That film made $1.6 billion. Do you guys see what I'm saying? If I'm not tuned into that fan base, if I'm not the target demographic for it, if it has reach beyond what I'm into, of course it's not going to go through my feed and dominate it. This whole cultural impact thing, I think, is a little bit overblown, and people are choosing which battle to fight with what franchise and not applying it to everything else. Because you could literally apply this to everything. I have a friend, one of my best friends in fact, who is convinced, dead set, you cannot convince him otherwise, even with factual numbers and showing him proof, that the PlayStation 5 is performing better than the Xbox Series X. He hates PlayStation and he loves Xbox. In his world, everybody talks about Halo Infinite, and Halo Infinite dwarfs and destroys Call of Duty. Is he right? Maybe in his world, the way he's perceiving it. But is he factually right? He's not. Because you can look at the facts. And when I try to show him, but look, PlayStation 5 is outselling it like 1.7 to 1. He's like, that's wrong. Okay, live in your own world. What I'm saying is, maybe some things don't need memes. Maybe some things don't need every single person on the internet talking about them. Maybe some things live as an event where there's that next big thing, you go and see it, you enjoy it, and you don't have to get on the internet and talk about it. Because I know tons of fans who I went and saw Avatar with that are like that. They don't talk about it, they don't share memes for anything, but they saw the film. Again, I think we need to take a step back and realize that we, us, hardcore, are honestly not the be-all end-all to every franchise. And there are people that aren't going to post a meme that are legitimately fans of these things. I get Avatar isn't for everybody, but clearly it's for somebody with the amount of money it's making. So, you know, meme culture, whatever, film Twitter, maybe there's just something to say about the fact that they put themselves on a pedestal and think that they're the be-all end-all and the answer to everything, and somehow, well, memes must equal success. Or at the same time, did that help Morbius? Did it help Eternals? Did it help any of the recent Terminator films, which were all terrible? Not really.